Did I forget to press record? Yes. So I was quite happily chatting away and we weren't recording. Honestly, if you'd known what's happened in the duration of trying to film this video, it has been a challenge. Hello my loves and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we're at the start of my October TBR. I am so excited. I adore October. I mentioned it in my reset video, but October is my favourite time of the year. Not just for the season and the decorations, but also the books. It's my favourite time. I absolutely love it. Now my TBR game this month is slightly different. I was having a bit of a crisis. There were so many good readathons that are happening in the month of October. 3 in particular I wanted to take part in. I will have the details of those in the description and the hosts that have created them and everything. I was really stuck. I didn't know what to do and I did contemplate not doing my own TBR game, but everyone on Discord was like, no, we like your TBR game. Well, it was up to you, but we do like your TBR game. And then there was a great idea put forward, which is, how about you just make your TBR game spooky for this month? Which, why haven't I done this before? I don't know. So that is exactly what we're doing. We have changed up the prompts to be on black card. Each prompt is a spooky prompt. Again, thank you to everyone on Discord for your help with the prompt. That's the only change, but I'm very excited for it. So for those that don't know what the game is, it's very, very simple. We have a 6-colour decided dice that I roll a minimum of 5 times. Now the colour correlates to a little ghost, and that sits on top of a prompt that I need to fulfill for the month. If we have the same colour come up twice, then we do an additional roll. Now I do cap that at 2 times, so basically we have anywhere between 5 to 7 prompts to fulfill for the month. I only allow myself to double up once if I'm having a really busy reading month. However, for the month of October, I don't think I'm going to allow the double up because I have so many books I want to read for the month that having a larger TBR sounds like great fun, even if I can't get through them all. That is the game. I'm so excited. Please let me know if you're taking part in any readathons. What are your reading plans for the month? I do have 3 books I would like to fit onto this TBR. If we can't fit them into the TBR, then I will mention them at the end of this video. In the reset video, I would have mentioned any ebooks because this game is only for my physical TBR, not my ebooks that I'm going to be reading. So if you are interested, I'll have the reset video linked below for you. But I think that is all the housekeeping out of the way. Normally at this point we'd be shuffling up, choosing a prompt to go down to start the game with 6 prompts for the game. We're starting fresh, so I think we're just gonna go over there, shuffle these up, lay out 6 and do the first roll. I'm so excited. If you have any more spooky prompts that you think I should be adding in for next year, please put them in the comments below. I may even do this again for things like Summerween when Gabby does that, because this is fun. I love this idea, so thank you again everyone on Discord. This was so helpful. But right, okay, let's get the game set up and do that first roll. Alright, let's shuffle these up and choose 6 prompts to start off the game with. I am so excited. Okay, let's go 1. Right, those are the 6 prompts. Let's put the ghost on top, sort out the camera angle and get to that first roll. Roll number 1. Purple. A dark cover. I know just the book. Did I forget to press record? Yes. So I was quite happily chatting away and we weren't recording. So let's try that again. So the first roll we got is dark cover. Now I thought I had exactly the book in mind for this because I need to read Frankenstein, specifically the 1818 text for a themed weekly reading vlog I'm doing this month. Very excited to do it. However, I thought I had the Penguin Black Classics edition. I've got the Oxford World Classic edition, which yes, is mostly dark, but we do have this white band going across it, which just doesn't make it feel like a dark cover to me. Like, yes, technically that could count. However, I have lots of books with dark covers that are more dark than this because they don't have a white band going across. So instead, we had a quick look at the shelves and I've decided to go with Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. This is a horror sci-fi book that I have been wanting to read for a while. I originally wanted to read it back, I think it was July, Summerween. Didn't manage to get onto the TBR, but I do really want to read this one. This one was also gifted to me from Naomi, so thank you so much. I'm really excited about this one. This one is about a space mission. We've got this ragtag crew. They come across what seems to be a gold mine of this broken down ship. They're going to go in, salvage what they can, except when they get there, things are not good. So I'm very excited about this. I think it's going to be great. I'm very, very excited to see how I get on with this one. I think sci-fi horror could be a really good little niche genre that I end up really enjoying. So yeah, I'm excited to give this one a try. So as much as it didn't originally work for what I thought it was going to, I'm still really pleased I got this one on the TBR. Like, this isn't one I had to read for the month, but is one that I had in mind to read for the month. So yeah, you'll have to let me know if you've read this one and what you think of it. It kind of reminds me a bit like, what is the book I read? Into the Deep, I want to say, which I'll put up the image here, which I read on Kindle a little while ago, but this one was going down into a trench, like underwater, for this ship that had sunk, and some strange creepy stuff was happening, but make it a space version. So I'm really excited to get to this one. I think it's going to be fantastic. But okay, off to a decent start. Let's choose a prompt to replace that one. Let's go in the middle. Ooh, speaking about the deep sea horror book I read, we have Deep Sea Monsters. That'll be interesting if that one comes up. But okay, let's go to roll number 2. Roll number 2. Yellow. Editing, Kirsten, coming in here to point out the blindingly obvious fact that I picked up the orange prompt and not the yellow one. Which, if I had picked up the yellow one, my TBR would be completely different, because in that, the trick or treat prompt, that it should have been another series of cards where we would have to do another coloured roll, because I had 6 cards, 3 of them were treats for books that I wanted to read, and 3 of them were tricks, which are 3 books that I really could have put off and been fine with not reading. So my TBR would be different because of that. It would not have been the sinister title prompt. Also, as you're going to see later in this game, we ended up doing an additional roll because I thought that I had rolled orange for roll number 2 and it wasn't, it was yellow. So we're just going to go with the fact that I clearly had no clue what I was doing, and we're just going to go on because I'm not refilming. I'm sorry, but I'm not doing it. I am not refilming. Sinister title. Now, I won't lie, originally when I wrote out that prompt of sinister title, I had this book in mind because I feel like Dead Silence is quite sinister. So now that that one's already been chosen, you can tell I really wanted to read it though. Let's have a look through the shelves for a sinister title. I think we're going to look on the horror shelf first and see what we can find. Okay, let's see. Ones that I do want to read. I mean, the Twisted ones I feel like is quite sinister. I would really like to read this month, but I'm also thinking to get you to vote on this prompt for sinister title. So I think I might save this because I definitely want to read this. So let's find 2 books with a sinister title to get you to vote on. What have we got? Realising that actually I've read a lot of these. Like an awful lot of these. Private Rights? I don't know if that sounds sinister though. Okay. Oh, okay, An Education in Malice. Malice is quite sinister. Let me move. I feel like Malice, that's quite sinistry. Education in Malice, maybe. Oh man, I really didn't make this easy for myself, did I? Oh, we've got The Bleeding. Can't get more sinister than blood everywhere, I guess. Oh, actually, behind here, let's move my freaky little doll out the way. We do have Death of a Bookseller. Kind of sinister, would we say? That's kind of sinister with the death. Potentially. Oh, speaking of, actually, let's check the mysteries. Okay, so if we go down here, oh, Cabaret Macabre, that could work because, you know, macabre, kind of sinister. I mean, Puzzle Me a Murder doesn't sound quite as sinister. Queen of Poisons, would we count that as sinister? Queen of Poisons. Okay, right, let me have a look between those. I've got, what, 4 books pulled out. Let me choose what I think is the 2 most sinister titles out of those, and then I'm going to get you to vote. The second prompt of sinister title, I did narrow it down to 2 books for you to vote between, and honestly I just didn't really know. The first thought I had was The Bleeding, because I feel like this cover is also kind of creepy. We've got a skull and a dagger and like lots of things all over the place, plus bleeding, blood, you know, automatically it's sinister. This one is a mystery that spans over 3 eras and 3 women. We have it in 1899 in Paris, where we're following Lucienne's 2 young daughters are believed dead when the mansion burns to the ground, but she is certain they're alive and embarks on a journey to find them. We then have 1949 post-war Quebec. Teenager Lena's father's died in a French resistance and she struggles to fit in at school when her mother introduces her to an elderly woman at an asylum where she works, changing Lena's life in the darkest way imaginable. And then in 2002 Quebec, a former schoolteacher is accused of brutally stabbing her husband, a famous university professor, to death. Detective Maxine Grant, who has recently lost her own husband and is parenting a teenager and a new baby single-handedly, takes on increasingly perplexing investigation. And we see how these 3 stories kind of intertwine together. It does seem like it's going to be quite a good book, and kind of like eerie and creepy is what I'm thinking. And then the other sinister title, I ended up I don't think this one's any more sinister than the other 2 books either. I ruled out Death of a Bookseller because it's so bright colour, like it was bright pink, and then Education of Malice got ruled out because, well, Queen of Poisons has a little skull on it. And also I do love the Marlowe Murder Club mystery series, like I do adore it, and this is the 3rd book in that series. You have heard me talk about this series a lot. I do love it. In the 1st book we follow Judith, who ends up getting entangled up with a murder mystery that needs solving, and we end up with a ragtag crew that are helping to solve these mysteries. I really love it. I really am excited to get back to Judith and the gang. I just think for me these are perfect cozy books. So yeah, please feel free to let me know in the comments below which one you think I should be reading for the month. Regardless, I do want to read both of these before the end of the year, but whatever one you think works best for sinister title, or whatever one you just think I should be reading, let me know. I am excited for both. These are the options. Oh, you know what, honestly I'm really excited. I'm glad I'm getting you to choose because I wouldn't be able to choose. I'm very excited for these, as I've said, but okay, right. We're now just rambling and we've already had enough of that. So let's choose another prompt to replace that one. Give these a little shuffle and we're just gonna go, let's go at the back, shall we? What is this? Blood on the cover. Honestly, these prompts are really fun. But okay, let's go to roll number 3. The 3rd roll. Green, okay. Spoopy. Oh, this should be really fun. Let's go have a look for spoopy books. Next time I need to think about the prompts that I'm putting into my game, because spoopy I love the idea of. I don't own many books of it though. So spoopy is the idea of a cute, spooky, cozy book. That's the idea of it all, which is perfect for me because I'm really embracing cozy books and enjoying it so much. However, on my TBR I don't actually have any cute, spooky books, like at all. I have a few that I wouldn't mind picking up and trying, but I don't actually own any of them. So to save the hassle of trying to think of one to then go out and buy, I'm going to go with a reread instead, and I've gone with The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. Now this isn't necessarily a proper spooky book, however it is a cute, cozy, witchy read. So I'm just kind of stretching it out here and just having it as it's a cute book with what is normally seen as a spooky character in it. Witches, Halloween, spooky, yeah, it kind of works. We're rolling with it. But I love this book. I read it for the first time last year and adored it. I have never felt quite so seen by a book before, and I have mentioned this one pretty recently in my Studio Ghibli book recommendations video. I wanted to reread this one this year, and October is the perfect time to read a witchy book, so it sounds pretty good to me. But I'm very excited to read this one. It meant so much to me. We're following Mika Moon, and Mika is kind of feeling a little bit lost in her life. She does YouTube videos knows online about being a witch, doesn't think anyone's actually going to believe they're real, because you know, everything's fake online, until she actually gets asked to come along and teach these 3 young witches about magic. And it starts questioning everything she thought she knew, and we have a found family, we have a bit of a romance going on. Like, I loved this book so much, and I knew that I wanted to reread it and annotate this, so I'm very happy it's getting onto this TBR. Even though it doesn't technically fulfill the prompt of spoopy, this is the closest I've got, and yeah, I'm just really happy. I'm also really happy that I'm also rereading a book 2 months in a row. Very happy with that, because it's definitely something I want to continue doing more of. But this book just, it meant so much to me. Very happy that that's made that onto the TBR. So now, where did I put the prompts? I actually don't know where I put the prompts. Found them. That took longer than what I care to admit. But okay, let's choose a prompt to replace that one. Honestly, if you'd known what's happened in the duration of trying to film this video, it has been a challenge. Let's just leave it at that. Okay, let's go here. A paranormal book. Moving on. Roll number... Wait, what are we on? 4. We're on roll number 4. Purple. Okay. So we have Deep Sea Monster, but that means we've got to have an additional roll. So choosing another prompt. Go this one. And then an additional roll. Blue. A witchy book. Let's have a look. Okay, so we've had the additional roll for roll number 4. So first of all, we had a Deep Sea Monster book. Initially, when I was looking at my shelves, the only book I actually have that covers this prompt properly, I would say, is Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. Loved this book. This would be another reread, and I adored this book. I do want to read it physically because I've only read it as a Kindle version, but I really enjoyed this one. It's an oceanic horror starring killer mermaids, and I really enjoyed this. However, I do have another book on my TBR, which is They Drown Our Daughters, which was an option for last month actually for you to choose between, and this one is also a horror story with like to do with the water, but I don't know if there is anything like a monster in the water. It's a tale about motherhood and identity, but also it is kind of a part ghost story, something to do with the water, where it says that they are, if the main character isn't careful, all 3 women, so her mother and her daughter, bound by blood and heartbreak, will be lost one by one to the ocean's mournful call. But I don't know if there's anything actually there. Like, it says it's haunted. What one do you think fits better? Killer mermaids? I feel like that fits better, and was initially what I was thinking of when I wrote that prompt. Or do I actually tick off another book on my TBR? I'm not sure. I might end up mood reading out of these 2, because let me do a proper synopsis cover of this one, because I haven't really, except since last month. But in this one, we're following Meredith. We're at Cape Disappointment, which is haunted, and that's why tourists used to flock there in droves. They'd visit the rocky shoreline under the old lighthouse watchful eye and fish shells from the water as they pretended to spot dark shapes in the surf. Now the tourists are long gone when Meredith Strand and her young daughter return to Meredith's childhood home after an acrimonious split from her wife. The Cape seems more haunted by regret than any malevolent force. But her mother, who is suffering from the early stages of Alzheimer's, is convinced the ghost stories are real. Not only is there something in the water, but it's watching them. So I feel like it could fit. You'll have to let me know what you think. Whether you think They Drown Our Daughters would work for this prompt. I feel like it would. Maybe I should have just put oceanic horror rather than sea monsters. But I don't know, I am kind of leaning into this one. I do want to read it. So I think I'm going to put that one on the TBR, but I may end up mood reading this one instead if I feel like it. We'll see. I'm going to leave this one up here. We might not. Okay, so that was for that prompt, and then for the second prompt it was a witchy book, and for this one I'm actually going to go with one that I'm not sure if I'm going to read it on Kindle or get the physical version. I think I'm leaning towards the physical copy of this book. That is for my cozy new releases vlog, and that is Sorcery and Small Magics by Myga Ducey, and this one comes out on the 23rd of October, so I will be reading in the month of October. And this one says it's for fans of A Marvellous Light and Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, two of some of my favourite books. I love those two books. So we have Leovander Lovage is a master of small magics, content to spend his days thinking up charms that can summon butterflies or turn hair pink. That is, until a mishap with forbidden magic compels Leo to obey his longtime rival, Sebastian Grimm. Grimm is Leo's complete opposite, respected, talented, and an absolutely insufferable curmudgeon. How do I pronounce that? But they need a counterspell and fast, but it's going to be a bit of a romance going on there. It sounds absolutely fantastic. I'm really excited. To be fair, I probably am just going to buy the physical copy of this book because the Kindle price is almost £10 and the physical copy, it's coming out in hardback, so it's going to be a bit more than that, but rather than me really liking the Kindle book and then purchasing a physical copy, I could just purchase the physical copy. So I think that's what I'm going to do with this one, and we'll read that one at the end of October alongside another book that I need to read, which I have 3 books I needed to read for the month and I haven't fit a single one of them on this TBR. I'm like, could I have done it with any of these prompts? No. No, I don't think I could have. Well, apart from one. Okay, moving on. So to replace that last prompt, let's go with, in the middle, a Gothic classic. Now if that comes up, I'll be very happy because that will work perfectly for the Frankenstein book that I need to read. Now for roll number 5. Orange. That means we have another additional roll. But the first one, blood on the cover, and replacing that prompt. And now we've got the last roll for October. Green. Paranormal. Okay, we are back at the shelves. I've already chosen the book for Paranormal, but now we need to find a cover with blood on the cover, which I feel like should be easy. The Familiar I don't think does, so we're going to move on from that. Silver Nitrate I do want to read, but this is all red and it doesn't quite count for blood, I don't think. Ooh. Lady Macbeth. Blood, I would say that's her hair dipped in blood, and also on the side here. That could work. That could be quite good to read actually. We then have round here, let's see, what have we got? Ooh, this is a book I need to read for the month. There is no blood there though. Okay, that's not happening. Well, we know Death of a Bookseller does because it's got the blood here. I did also want to read this, but that doesn't have any blood on it. Okay, maybe this is slightly harder than I thought it was going to be. I also would like to read Bright Young Women. Nope, no blood on that cover though. I really do want to read that though before the end of the year. Nestin is also another one I want to read. No blood on that. Most of those I've all read. Around here, what have we got here? I do need to read this, but I don't think there's any blood on this one. Nope. Nope, no blood on. I'm now just making things fall. Okay, we're just gonna leave that there. Puzzle Me a Murder doesn't. This one also doesn't, but it's a very red cover. And I don't think any of my cozy books have blood on the cover, although I realised this would have been a great pick for creepy, sinister title, Witness for the Dead. That's a great title for sinister, but never mind. What else has blood on the cover? I did want to read Nona. Does Nona have? No, Nona has no blood on the cover. Oh my god. This is not easy. Okay, Frankenstein. Because I really need to read you for the month. No. No, no blood. Wow, we do not have many options. I did not think these prompts through, did I? Okay, let me have another little quick rummage. As usual, the TBR game hasn't quite worked out with what I needed to read for the month, but I am pleased with the prompt Paranormal because it's allowed me to put on a book that I said I wanted to read for the month, which is The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. I really wanted to read a T. Kingfisher book, and The Twisted Ones is the one I wanted to read first out of the two that I've got on my shelves that I haven't read. I've been really excited for this one ever since I read The Hollow Places, and while I don't know if this is going to quite work for Paranormal specifically, I know that this is meant to be really eerie and chilling, so I'm excited to give this one a go. So this one we're following Mouse, and she has been asked to clean out her dead grandmother's house, and she's thinking, how bad can it be? Turns out really freaking bad, and we have a bit of like a creepy woods going on filled with impossible terrors, and I feel like that on its own feels like paranormal to me. And this book is inspired by The White Ones, I think it is. The White People, which was a manuscript story by Arthur Machen. which was published in 1904, which is one of the great classics of horror. So I am really excited for this because I actually really like Arthur Machen's work. I'm gonna have to see if my collection includes the white people or not, because I do have a bind up of short stories including The Great Godpan. So I'll be intrigued to see if I have the white people, which I'll probably give that a read before going into this. But I'm really excited to read this book, and I do think it will work for paranormal, for something that is very unsettling and maybe not fully explained. I think that's going to work amazingly well. And then for blood on the cover, I honestly thought I had more books with blood on the cover than what I did. I found those two books. I mean, technically I do have more because like The Bleeding does, I'm pretty sure Dead Silence does a little bit. No, that's just light. Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about apparently, but we are stretching out the prompt because there is this tiny little finger here that has red on it. Honestly, I'm not sure if that's meant to be blood or not. So I'm gonna say that that's blood on the finger and make it work, because I really need to read this book. I needed to at least get one of the 3 books I needed to read for the month on this TBR, and the other 2 books do not work for it. So this one could potentially work. We're going with it for that tiny little dot of blood on the finger. That's what we're gonna say it is, and if it's not, yes it is, okay? So this is Frankenstein, the 1818 text by Mary Shelley. I love Frankenstein. That is a book I've read a couple of times now, but I've never read the original text, and I am doing a themed weekly reading vlog reading the original text and then a modern day book that's been inspired by Frankenstein. I feel like it's going to be a really fun reading vlog to do, and as much as I tried, A Botanical Daughter by Noah Medlock just does not have blood on the cover. We have red flowers but no blood. It's very disappointing. So we're just gonna go with Frankenstein, the 1818 text for blood on the cover, and this is a good segue into the other books I need to read for the month that haven't fitted on. So we do have A Botanical Daughter, and this one, as I say, is inspired by Frankenstein. In this one we are following 2 men. They are in a relationship, but we're in Victorian London, so of course their relationship is not actually allowed, but they are living in a botanical garden, which is very unusual, but it works for them because Simon does taxidermical art and Gregor works with exotic plants, which is all like harmless enough until Gregor's latest acquisition, a strange fungus which shows signs of intellect beyond any plant he's seen and inspires him to attempt a masterwork, true intelligent life from plant matter. So I think you can see where the Frankenstein inspirations are coming in there. Really excited for this reading vlog. I think it's going to be such a good time. It's one that I've been thinking of doing for a little while, but saving for October because it's perfect timing for it. And then the last physical book that I'm going to be reading for the month is the Discord book club pick, which is The Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas. And this one we are following a main character called Nena, and she is the daughter of a rancher. They're in 1840s Mexico, and sinister things are happening where something's going around draining the blood of people. Very excited to give this one a try. I am getting the paperback version. I've pre-ordered it, which comes out at the end of the month, so that's a book that I'll be reading in the last week of the month. So we've got 2 books that I'm going to be reading in the last week of the month for the October TBR. But yeah, it's a shame it didn't quite get on to this TBR, but with the paperback copy there is no blood on this cover, so it just doesn't work. But right, okay, that puts us at the end of my TBR. Let's just go through the books that I'm going to be reading for the month of October. So we have Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the 1818 text for blood on the cover, and yes, we stretched it, but there was blood on that finger. I will take no further commentary. Then we have Paranormal. We've got The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher, a book I'm really pleased got onto this TBR. I've been wanting to read it for a little while now. Then for Sea Monsters, we've got They Drown Our Daughters by Katrina Monroe. I'm assuming, we already know, I think this is going to be to do with sea monsters. If not, it's definitely a horror to do with water. So maybe going forward we'll tweak that prompt slightly just to make it a little bit easier for myself. But I feel like because there's something in the water watching them, it could work. And then we have a spoopy book, which again is a bit more of a stretch. We have The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, but this is such a cute cozy witchy book that I feel like it does work. And then we have Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes, a sci-fi horror novel that's working for a dark cover. And then the last prompt to fulfill is a book with a sinister title. So we have The Queen of Poisons, which is a cozy murder mystery. It's a really fun time. I love that series. Or we have The Bleed-In, which definitely does look a little bit more sinister, and in tone this one is a bit of a darker mystery that's spanning 3 generations. So I'm very intrigued to see which one of those two you choose. Add into the TBR, we of course have A Botanical Daughter by Noah Medlock for my Frankenstein Reading Week, and then we also have the Discord book club pick, The Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas, as well as the pick for a witchy read, which is Sorcery and Small Magic. That's also being added to this one. So you know what, this TBR, there's quite a bit going on to this, because we also have a couple of extra ebooks that I need to read as well. Only 2 more. But yeah, we've got quite a stack of books to be getting through, considering we've got 2 more books to add to this stack and 2 more ebooks. Yeah, there's a lot to be getting through in the month of October, but as I said at the start of this, I am happier with a bigger TBR for October because I just love October's reads. Like, I do love it. I could have added so many more books to this TBR because, well, I just love it. I love all the slightly spookier books in October. It's just so much fun. But yes, please let me know what you're going to be reading for the month. Don't forget to vote between the 2 different books, and I think we're going to leave it there. So thank you so much for watching. You know I say it all the time, but genuinely it means so much to me, so thank you. If you've made it this far but just don't know what to comment, then let's leave a skull emoji in the comments below. I'm gonna go, so thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, then please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe, comment. Those 3 things really help this channel out. My social media links and anyone I've mentioned will be linked below for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.